Once you know about each of the different Monado arts, the moves are a lot easier to discuss. How you use the moves stays generally the same regardless of what art you are in. So even though, including vanilla, Shulk has 6 different modes he can be in, it's not like you're learning 6 different characters. At most, maybe 1.5. Here's a brief overview of each move before we get into more specifics like combos. Neutral Air is Shulk's autopilot move. It's safe, long-lasting, it combos, it strings into stuff, and is a great all-purpose move, aside from killing. Gets thrown out a lot. Forward Air is another very fundamental move, longer range than Nair, strikes in front, good for spacing, punishing, stringing, ending combos, killing, and more. Back Air is the longest range aerial. Near the base, it's high damage and high knockback. It has short-lasting hitboxes, it's good for reads, punishing, and spacing in the neutral. Up Air is very powerful and also combos due to the low landing leg. Huge vertical range, low horizontal range. Down Air is up air, but just downwards. Its long range can be used to poke people recovering below the stage edge. Forward Tilt is a decent ranged, beefy punish tool, like a faster but weaker smash attack. Down Tilt is a faster, high range, weaker move. It's the best grounded tool for spacing. Up Tilt is a fairly long lasting, huge vertical range move. It has pretty good knockback. Good for keeping opponents in the air or killing. Jab is Shulk's fastest move at frame 5, a much needed get off me tool for opponents in your face. It has very low range until Jab 2 comes out at frame 10. Up B, Air Slash, is fast, has huge sweeping vertical and horizontal range, and killing capabilities, at the expense of being high risk. And of course it is also used for recovery. Side B, Backslash, is a slow but powerful and height punishing tool. Very high range. It's also a secondary recovery option. Down B, Vision, is a unique counter with 2 versions, a regular and a forwarded version. The move has its ups and downs. Forward Smash is a very, very high range, but also still pretty slow and punishable move. It's what you would expect from a smash attack. You can also combo into it sometimes. Up Smash is a vertically oriented smash attack. It can be used against grounded and airborne opponents. Can catch neutral get up from the ledge as well. Down Smash is lower damage and knockback than F Smash, but covers both sides of Shulk. It also has 5 hits in total, and can poke or break shields. Grab is frame 7 and actually longer range than Jab 1. Its pummel is pretty good. Grab's usage depends on the throw. Back throw is the highest damage and knockback of the throws. Use it to send the opponent off stage and get guaranteed damage, or a kill. Forward throw is like back throw but very slightly weaker, sending in front instead. Use it for the same reasons. Down throw is Shulk's combo throw, but it's much better with some Monado arts than others. Lots more on that later. And up throw sends the opponent up for potential damage depending on how much you're able to follow up. Now let's get into more specifics. Aerials. Neutral Air. Nair is Shulk's most brain-dead option. In Smash 4 the term Nair plane arose because of it, and with Nair being significantly buffed in Ultimate, this is even more true now. Things to know about it are, it starts actually behind Shulk as technically his fastest aerial, and it semi-quickly makes its way around Shulk in a full 360 degrees back to the original starting position, where it sits for several frames before deactivating. Because the move goes all around Shulk, there are tons of situations where you can use it, and you don't need to know exactly where the opponent is going to be. And you have 2 opportunities to hit grounded opponents with it, either as it turns below Shulk, or while it's resting after making the turn. On landing, it has almost no landing leg, and leads into almost any move as a combo. Here's what you'll want to use to follow up and when to use it. Firstly, you may be used to doing Nair to Jab and Nair to Up Tilt from Smash 4. These don't reliably work anymore. What you should use instead of Jab is Grab. Never use Jab over Grab from a Nair. Even though it's a couple of frames slower, Grab is true against even 0% Bowser while in Monado Buster. You'll need to do a dash grab oftentimes unless you're either in Buster or at 0% and really close to the opponent. If you're in Vanilla, Nair to dash grab will keep working until about 25% on average opponents. The way they get out is they end up too high, so Monado speed doesn't change this. If they DI in, they'll get out 5% earlier, and if they DI out, they'll get out 5% later. In Buster though, it keeps working until a semi-high 80%. As for different weights, with Bowser you're looking at 40 for vanilla and 100 for Buster. And for Pichu you're looking at around 15 and 70. It's important to try to get a feel for when that angle is going to change because people often flub their combo because of this and then they get punished. You may want a higher damage option since with grab, back throw is your highest damage option but still only 11%. However, note if you are in Buster, you can usually get a down throw combo. Your best alternatives are dash attack, F tilt, down tilt, and F smash tilted up. In vanilla, each of these options work at 0% against an average opponent, but all except dash attack are sensitive about your spacing. Of the four, dash attack is the most reliable. However, if you're close enough, I'd recommend F smash for that 20 plus damage. Conveniently, when you get to the percent that those options stop working, forward air starts working and becomes your most reliable option from then on. This is where speed starts to become really helpful with the Nair combo. Your opponent's best bet is to DI away. If they do this, Nair to fair stops connecting at around 50%. However, if you're in speed, you can extend this to about 70% for an average weight character. For Buster, your next option would be Air Slash to make it work up until about 130%. But since that's a pretty high percent, you probably won't be in Buster at that point. Also, if you hit him from behind, Nair to backslash is another notable option that works at the same percents as Vanilla and Buster Nair to fair. Otherwise, if you're beyond these percents for your respective Monado arts, you're still likely to get some good strings and punishes on your opponent, as that's what a lot of playing Shulk is about. Okay, moving on, forward air. Forward air may be the second most frequently used move for Shulk. Like Nair, it is a large sweeping hitbox, but only makes a half circle around the front of Shulk. And while it lasts a while, it doesn't last even nearly as long as Nair. However, it is much higher range, and is great for keeping your space in the neutral. Fair has decent knockback as well, so it's a common kill move, either from the raw power or in Smash. Also, it's very good for edge guards. It's also a string starter and sometimes a niche combo starter. At very early percents, fair to dash attack should connect. Once it stops, it becomes a forced tech situation. There is a much better combo move in Buster. You want to do grab or dash grab from 0 to 50%, and then from there dash attack until about 75%, where now they will be able to but are forced to tech. Usually though, fair is used for swatting and happens to have enough knockback to kill easily, either off stage or Monado Smash. Back air. Back air is the slowest but highest range aerial. The slowness in combination with its relatively short lasting hitbox makes it a bit awkward to learn how to use, but it's a much needed and useful tool. Back air is high damage and knockback in short range, and weaker in long range. The short range hitbox is very powerful, and a very common kill move. Otherwise, the high range and damage, along with the pretty low landing leg, makes it a good spacing tool. Down air. Down air's 2 hits add up to a lot of damage, and the move is a pretty powerful spike. Huge vertical range means it can poke past most if not all recovery hitboxes and hit the opponent. It can also poke down through platforms and is an alright option on the ground too. Because of its range, it can be used to take opponents off guard by hitting them before when they would expect you to be able to. It can also be used to snipe downwards through the stage's lip. Alright, on to specials. First we have Air Slash. Air Slash is a fast acting move with huge sweeping hitboxes and the capability to kill. It's probably the best punishing tool. However, it's very punishable itself if it misses, unless you can use like platforms or the ledge to avoid the punish. Also, it is really good off stage where you can repeatedly recover backwards, catching and hitting the opponent away. You can also catch several but not all characters hanging from the ledge if you delay the second slash of Air Slash instead of using it right away. Here's what you need to know for recovery. The first slash covers most of the vertical distance, while the second slash brings you slightly higher. You can snap the ledge by being a bit less than the first slash's maximum distance, and not doing the second slash. Of course, if you need the second slash, do use it. Even though it may not snap as fast, the second hit usually makes you safe from opponents who are at the ledge. For general cases, your recovery is made best by delaying the input between the first and second slash as long as you can, drifting in between. In the special cases where you need vertical height only, use the second slash right away. Monado Jump makes air slash go 50% higher and takes some getting used to. Backslash. Shulk's signature physical art returned again in SSBU and is better than it was in Smash 4, but still pretty bad. Backslash is generally used for two things: to assist with recovery, and for an occasional hard punish or read. The buff to backslash is that if you are high enough above a ledge when you use it, you will grab the ledge with it. Because of this, backslash has become a move that is most commonly used to get back to the stage faster and more safely when you are in a situation where you hit more high than far. It's very useful, but of course be careful because if you mess up, you die. As an attacking move, backslash's main drawback is it can be reacted to. Backslash at frame 22 or frame 23 is just barely beyond the threshold for reactability. Furthermore, since it is a powerful attack if hitting the opponent's back, it has a lot of landing lag. This is a big problem for it, making backslash overall an unsafe move. Still, a bit of online lag could fix the reactability issue, and there are cases where you could use it confidently, like as a powerful punish, or as a third jump to attack over an unsuspecting projectile charger. Vision. Vision is a decent counter, held back by some reliability issues. There's a regular version, and there's a stronger forwarded version, which sends the opponent behind you. And it can only be used while on the ground, and it's done by holding the joystick in the direction of the hitbox that hits you. Like all counters, Vision bases its damage and knockback solely on how much damage the opponent's move has. If grounded, the choice between regular and forwarded Vision comes down to how close the ledge you are. You don't want to use forwarded Vision if it just sends them to center stage, or it won't send them off stage as much. Of course, if you aren't sure if regular Vision will hit, you can use a forwarded Vision regardless. Forwarded also has higher range, which is a bit different from how it was in Smash 4. The main reliability issues with Vision are it's slow, and it cannot go through shields anymore. Vision puts a slowdown effect on the opponent for any physical moves, but not for projectiles. Projectile users can often, but not always, shield before the Vision would hit them. Generally, you want to use Vision in anticipation of a physical attack, like when the opponent is just jumping around pressing the A button. It's pretty reliable for this purpose if you're grounded and use forwarded Vision. Since regular Vision is slower, low landing leg moves might get shielded. Used in the air though, Vision is pretty hit or miss. Alright, on to grounded moves. First, grab. Shulk's grab is the second fastest option. It's a very useful move to land successfully because of the throws. Shulk's pummel is also much faster in this game, making it more consistent. Throws. Forward throw and back throw are pretty much the same usage-wise. Back throw is the strongest in damage and knockback, but forward throw is not far behind in power and gets just about as much, if not more, kills. The best cases to use either of these throws is when it will send the opponent off the ledge, often leading into edge guards. And when you just want guaranteed damage, not wanting to rely on trying to get a string when down throw won't combo. Up throw is uncommon and only has potential for juggling or stringing. It sends the opponents mostly upwards and slightly forwards. Down throw is the combo throw, but you shouldn't use it entirely the same as you did in Smash 4. For one, it's only consistent for combos in Monado Buster. You may really want to do Monado Speed down throw to forward air, but it just doesn't really work in this game if they DI away, which they usually do. If they DI away, you may want to try forward throw, which is a guaranteed damage and can force them to have to tech. Down throw, on the other hand, sends the opponent more up than forwards now, which by the way is why it is not the kill move anymore. If you're in Monado Buster though, and you get a grab on the opponent, you are probably going to be getting a good combo from it. The percents for buster down throw combos are substantially labbed, so I'll throw a link to that in the description, but I'll try to give you the general sense. Note that I'll be speaking in terms of percents here, and these are only for a rough average. The actual percents will be very heavily influenced by your opponent's weight, fall speed, and gravity parameters. At 0%, buster down throw to down tilt is your best choice for roughly 25% damage. There's some overlap in combo percents, but at about 20% you'll want to switch to forward tilt instead, because down tilt will sweep too low below their feet. Use F tilt as soon as you can because it's very high damage. At about 50%, they'll start to be too far for F tilt to reach, and you'll need to switch to a new move. Our dash attack received a huge startup buff and is your next go-to option. It has already been viable since about 35%. Dash attack continues to do meaty damage for a combo percent of about 30% as well. The way you should be inputting this dash attack is not by using the A button, because you'll probably get a forward smash. Instead, what you should be doing is an instant dash attack, which is a universal technique in Smash, which is performed by dashing with the left joystick and then very shortly after pressing forward on your right joystick, which triggers dash attack instead. This combo will continue to work until about 85% if they DI away. Their best move to get out of this is to either DI up or in, so that they are too high up for dash attack to land. If they happen to be doing this for whatever reason, you have another trick up your sleeve. The concluding move for the buster down throw combos, our up B, Air Slash. Air Slash has actually been a working option for all of the percents we talked about here. It has higher horizontal range than all the moves we talked about aside from dash attack, and it comes out at the same time frame as down tilt, our 0% combo. Why I didn't just tell you to use Air Slash for all the percents though, is it is more unsafe on hit the lower in percent your opponent is at, and it does less damage than F tilt and dash attack. However, once we get to these higher percents, it becomes a much more needed and viable option. The percent range for Monado Buster down throw to Air Slash doesn't really need to be said, but it's usually from 0% to well over 100%, and can be done regardless of how they DI. Because of how late in percent the combo can work, it can be turned into a kill confirm by simply deactivating Monado Buster before using Air Slash. This works against most characters in the game, but of course is easier on some than others. Personally, I wouldn't start using Buster down throw to Air Slash until F tilt stops working, and at that, still opt for dash attack if they aren't DIing up or in. However, dash attack naturally stops working even if they DI away until around 80%. So you'll want to start opting for Air Slash at some point before then. Now, here's the thing about using Air Slash. At low percents, you could just combo Air Slash by just buffering the move out of the down throw, easy peasy. But at these higher percents, you'll start to say, what gives? Eriko said Air Slash would work here, but it clearly misses. What you need to do is move closer to the opponent before you use Air Slash. And you need to listen to me on how you need to do that, because it's not hard, but it's also not the most natural thing you would think of doing. The natural thought is, oh, Air Slash goes vertical distance, so I'll just run a little, and I'll use Air Slash from the ground. This does work to extend the percent by like maybe 5% or so, but it is not what makes this combo continue to work well past 100%. The thing you actually need to do is a short dash into a jump, using Air Slash when you are about the height of your opponent. This is the baseline input that you mostly follow even as your opponent gets higher and higher in percent. You might need to dash slightly longer or jump slightly higher as your opponent gets knocked away harder, but just keep your eye on the opponent and it's not that hard to tell what you need to do. Now, just press B 3 times before the end of your down throw and do the exact same thing as before, and you have yourself a kill confirm. This is called buffer deactivation and is a good thing to know you can do. In collaboration with Gaku, I have put together a spreadsheet of how easy this is to do on each character and how well it kills. In general, the combo becomes less lenient to input the later in percent the opponent is. So I have also marked down in the notes column how the ease of inputs change for most characters based on what percent they are at. And note that the percents are all tested with a turbo controller, mashing air dodge while DIing away, so they can be trusted. Also, you can disregard everything the document says if they DI in, because if they do that, they are a free kill no matter who they are. So I think this is definitely a combo worth putting some time into practicing. And finally, yes, you can do this in Mono Shield from like 0 to 20% if you make sure to do the buffer deactivation. Okay, so now moving on from the throws, it's time for the tilts. Down tilt is a more neutral state move, one of Shulk's only options for horizontal spacing while staying grounded. It gets this because it's fast acting, lowish end leg, and high range. It sweeps very low to the ground, so it can't be used at all against airborne opponents. It's pretty good for end leg though, making it pretty safe, but it still should be safed, not used right up close. Down tilt can sometimes combo into forward air, but is more for the strings and the advantage it puts you in. Up tilt. Up tilt is a really good move for Shulk. It's really long reaching and has alright damage, usually around 12%. The high reach is really good for catching opponents jumping or just in general in the air. And when out of Smash, it is one of the most common moves to get a kill off of. Otherwise, it just sends the opponent mostly upwards and is good for juggling. In general, up tilt keeps opponents above you in constant pressure. This holds true for platforms where up tilt reaches far beyond where it is needed to pressure them. And if you hit someone with up tilt, you will not be able to true combo them, but they will be open for a plethora of follow-ups. F tilt. F tilt is a meaty move. Fresh, it does about 15 to 17% depending on where you hit and if you are in vanilla. And it does fairly high knockback. The hitbox is active on frame 12 and you can act out on frame 44, which is alright. It is pretty good range, only 8% less than down tilt. F tilt's main uses are punishing, making attempts on an opponent from a range, and of course for comboing, like with moves like neutral air. Jabs. Shulk's jab is his fastest attack at frame 5. The first hit of it is really short range compared to all of Shulk's other moves. You can only combo into jabs with a buster neutral air at low percents. Don't try to do nair to jab otherwise. Do nair to F tilt instead. It does more damage than the jab combo. Jab combo only does 10.5 damage. Also regarding buster nair to jab, you might be better off doing buster nair to grab, because grab is actually longer range, and while it is 2 frames slower at frame 7, it beats shielding, which actually makes it even more reliable. Another change with jab from Smash 4 is that the moves are not completely only base knockback anymore, meaning that characters can start to get out of it better when they get to certain high percents in Smash art. Despite its changes, jab is still a much needed move for dealing with opponents who are in your face. It is still a much needed tool to get you out of bad spots, and despite the memes, can still outspeed a plethora of your opponent's options. Alright, F Smash. F Smash, unsurprisingly, is mostly a punish tool. It has very high range, high damage, and high knockback, tilted up for even more knockback, and against aerial opponents. It can be tilted downwards too. F Smash can poke at opponents off stage. If spaced well, it might go unpunished in vanilla or buster, but it's pretty leggy, so don't go throwing it out in neutral. Up Smash has more utility than F Smash because it can be used to cover ledge get up and roll on. Aside from this, it is mainly a punish tool again. It has 2 hitboxes, a scooping hitbox, and a hard hitting hitbox. And that would be the video. Thanks for watching. Sorry it took so long, but I guess late is better than never. As you can see, Paradigm and I were mostly doing other sort of content, instead of just Smash anymore since we've sort of moved away from this, but I actually just ended up rewatching part 1 of the video today, and I felt kind of bad for not ever doing a part 2. So here we are. Thanks for watching.